What's up, Giants fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, oh my, we're in for a treat. The New York Giants trade up to number 25 overall in the first round and select their quarterback of the future from Ole Miss in Jaxson Dart. Yesterday, if you follow us on Big Blue Avenue on our social media, I put out a prediction that the Giants would trade up with the Minnesota Vikings to select Dart at number 24, despite Sanders still being on the board. I was one pick off from that prediction, and the Giants get it done. They gave up picks 34, 99, and a 26 third-round pick for number 25. This is not a bad trade at all. They jump in front of the Rams, who traded back after the Giants took Dart. They had their eyes set on Jaxson, and the Giants jumped in front, only giving up their second rounder, their third round comp pick, so they still have 65, and then a third round next year. Not bad work. In fact, it's excellent work by Joe Shane. Giants finally get their guy. 6'2 and a half, 6'3, more in that 6'2 and a half range. Senior, 225. I mean, this was a blockbuster trade up, guys. This won the Giants the night. We saw what happened Wednesday evening, where the son of Joe Shane, Carson Shane, fueled massive curiosity. He posted that video on social media of Jaxson Dart highlights, and then soon thereafter made his account private. Later posted by JPA Football, among other sources. This guy really rose his stock at the NFL Combine, so I'm not surprised that he went this high and went in the first round. He went 18 of 23 there at the Combine, and let's be real, it would have been better if not for some drops by wide receivers. He showcased his arm power. His precision was on display. He proved that he could make every throw in the NFL. He is currently the youngest QB in the NFL at just 21 years old, a 3-year SEC starter, and the same alma mater as Eli Manning, future Hall of Famer, legend, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Dart competed at the Manning Passing Academy. Utah native, so really no local connection to the area. But I like Dart over a guy like Sanders because Dart is a proven 3-year SEC starter. 44 starts at Ole Miss, 28-10 record. Also, his rushing. He rushed for nearly 1,500 yards at Ole Miss with 14 touchdowns in just 3 years. And then there was one stat I had that was posted. So the rushing numbers for Jaxson Dart compared to some other prospects in the NFL draft. Second in scrambles, third in yards after contact, runs of 10-plus yards. He was second. So he's a guy that fits what Brian Daboll wants to do scheme-wise at the quarterback position. The other two QBs that really fit the style of play were Jalen Milroe and Riley Leonard. So I think Jaxson Dart was the best option, and that's why Daboll honed in on him. He reminds him of Josh Allen in ways. There are some similar physical tools there. This past year at Ole Miss, he ranked third in the nation with 4,279 passing yards, starting all 13 games, first team All-SEC. This guy set school records in passing yards, yards of total offense. He led the entire nation with over 10 yards per attempt, 15 and a half yards per completion, 330 passing yards a game. That was third in the country. And this year alone, he had 495 rushing yards and 3 scores. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates into the NFL. He's mobile, durable. He does absorb a lot of contact, so you do worry about durability at the next level. But in college, he never really had too much injury stuff going on there. Looked really good in the Gator Bowl against Duke, where he threw 4 touchdowns and 400 yards. And his numbers against the blitz, guys, 66.2 completion percentage against the blitz, 12 touchdowns, 2 picks. Against no blitz, 71% completion percentage, 17 touchdowns, 4 picks, at a turnover-worthy play rate this year of just 1.1% when blitzed and 2.8% when not blitzed. Both of those numbers are better than Cam Ward's. Dart also had a higher average depth of target than Cam Ward. His stats last year were pretty good too. 23 touchdowns to just 5 picks and over 3,300 yards, and similar stuff the year before. He threw for 20 plus touchdowns that year too. And he got better throughout his career at Ole Miss, developed some good chemistry with Trey Harris, Cade Priestcorn, the tight end. Quinshon Judkins was there for a couple of years before transferring. And Dart's college journey wasn't easy, right? He was considering playing, I believe, with Arizona State, turned that down, began his college career at USC, backup for Caleb Williams. Then he transferred to Ole Miss after just 1 year, where he spent the last 3 seasons. As far as his build, it's stocky, average physical attributes, good makeup and intangibles, though. He's fairly accurate. Rarely does Dart overcomplicate things on the field. Like I mentioned before, he could throw consistent balls at all 3 levels: intermediate, short, and deep. Very accurate on the back shoulder fades, which is awesome to hear. Hard to bring down in the open field, and he's really good with pre-snap recognition, which is something Daniel Jones suffered mightily with. And a lot of Jones's balls were flat, unfortunately, throughout his time with the Giants. Dart, again, this is not Daniel Jones. I know I see some people comparing this to Daniel Jones. That is not who this guy is. Dart is a proven starter in the SEC, where Daniel Jones had under a 60% career completion percentage at Duke. Dart makes those full field reads too, which I really like. Maybe he needs to get more comfortable with the simpler reads. He's a good decision maker on third downs, recognizes potential trouble, escapes it well. He does need to work a little bit better about winning in tight windows at the next level, and have a little bit better anticipation against zone defense, right? Because sometimes he'll get behind in his progressions against zone, which you never want to do. So that's something I noticed as well. But yeah, for me, it's just learning how to slide. They have to teach him how to slide. Otherwise, he is going to get banged up and injured a lot. And, learning behind Russell Wilson, I think, will be great for him for a year. I think you definitely see Dart at some point this year. You won't see him week 1. It'll be Russ, but I think Dart gets the call to start playing and starting games before Winston does. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll see what the timeline is like for Jaxson Dart. The Giants have such a versatile offense. It seems to be custom made for a guy like him. I mean, look, you have Malik Neighbors, you have Wandale, you have Theo Johnson, all young guys on rookie deals, Tyrone Tracy as well. You got Darius Slayton coming back. You got Daniel Bellinger still around. There's still 4 to 5 more. There's still 5 more draft picks for the Giants in this draft. So I'm interested to see what happens at pick 65 and beyond. All in all. And lastly, one thing I want to point out is that Mike Kafka, who's still around as the Giants OC entering year 4, played an imperative role in the development of Patrick Mahomes. He was in charge of a lot of that process, him sitting for a full year behind Alex Smith. We could see a similar thing this year with Jaxson Dart for Big Blue, where it's essentially a redshirt year. And that's why the Giants traded back into the first round for him, right? Because you get the 5th-year option if you're a first-round pick. And even if you redshirt, you still have 4 years of control. If they picked him in the 2nd round, you would have 3 years of control if he were not to play in year 1. So the fact that they traded up for him and only gave up 1 future draft pick is awesome work by Joe Schoen. It's awesome work for the New York Giants. Kafka has a very impressive QB development plan. I don't think it worked as well with Daniel Jones because of the constant revolving door of coaches, staff, personnel. I think now you finally get a lot of these young guys in. Give Dart some confidence. Give him a veteran who's a proven winner. He's won a Super Bowl before. And I think Dart will be just okay in the NFL. I think he's going to be very, very good. He's got top 10 potential, possibly higher, if things go well in the Giants QB system. And I do think this draft pick was so smart because it buys Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen at least 2 more seasons, in my opinion. You can sort of view this year and be like, hey, if they go 7-10, they're safe. If they go 6-11, they're safe because you have the quarterback in place. You want to give him a chance to develop under this regime. And Mara knows it because you'd be doing Dart and all these other young players a disservice if you get rid of Daboll and Shane. So all in all, I think Jaxson Dart is going to be a really solid NFL quarterback. I'm excited for him in Big Blue. We finally, after 6 long years of Daniel Jones and injuries and inconsistencies, finally have the quarterback of the future, turning the page from dimes to darts. Folks, let me know what you think of Jaxson Dart. Do you like this pick? Do you think the Giants should have went elsewhere or waited on QB? I want to hear your thoughts below in the comment section on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Blue Avenue. Make sure to ring the bell for notifications. Smash that like button, subscribe, drop a comment. And I appreciate you all tuning in. We'll have more draft coverage throughout the coming days. And without further ado, let's go Big Blue.